y'all, it's me. I'm back 1 year later. Sorry for the wait. I'm also very sorry to disappoint and let y'all down and letting y'all know about all the chaos that is dental hygiene school. But as you can tell, COVID-19 has taken over my life and everybody's life for the past 3 months. So I've actually had time to sit down and record a video for you guys because senior year of dental hygiene school is way worse than the first year. So today I wanted to go over the questions that were on my last video. I mean, I already commented back, but I just wanted to elaborate, and if it doesn't apply to you anymore, then that's fine. It probably applies to somebody else listening here. I also need somebody else to talk to because I'm tired of talking to my plants. I have taken up planting, gardening, whatever it's called, because I'm tired of talking to my dog because she walks away from me, and my plants, they can't walk away from me. And if they did, I'd be very concerned. But I'm actually not really good green thumb. Like, I usually kill my plants, but I've kept all these alive for like 2 months, so that's amazing. And you're like, Candace, how do you kill a succulent? Like, it's super hard. They don't even barely need water. And I'm like, you underestimate my gardening skills. Like, they're terrible. But back to what today is really about, some Q&A and a little bit of supplemental information for you at the end of the video. So let's just dive in.
Get your teeth cleaned with us. It's $5 if you're a student. It's $50 for the general public, military, and service members are free.
You're such a good saleswoman.
Yeah, just come by.
Come get your teeth cleaned.
First question is from Skylar Credit. Thanks so much for the advice. I'm worried about my tattoo sleeve. Did having the sleeve affect your interview? Do you have to wear long sleeves every day? So for my school, we don't do interviews. I just went in and I talked to my director about, just asked her some questions, see if this is really where I wanted to apply. And I did ask her about, you know, if having a sleeve would affect my chances of getting in or whatever have you, and it didn't. It did not have any effect whatsoever. But yes, I do have to wear long sleeves every day. I have to cover up all my tattoos that show. But we are required to wear our jackets anyway when we escort our patients into and out of the clinic. We don't have to wear it when we're seeing our patient, like working on them and stuff. But whenever we get up, we have to put it back on. So I just leave mine on the whole time. The clinic is very cold, so therefore I'm very cold. So keeping my jacket on isn't a huge deal, even under the gown. Sometimes it gets hot, but I would rather just keep my jacket on. But some of the other classmates that I have that also have tattoos on their arms that they have to cover up, they wear compression shirts underneath their scrubs, and they're actually like cooling compression shirts. I think that's a thing. And it keeps them cooled down so, you know, they don't overheat under the gown, because not everyone's like me. But to answer the first question, no, it didn't affect my chances of getting in, so it shouldn't affect yours. Next question is from MS. Do you think dental hygiene school is harder than the prereqs such as chem, A&P, and micro? That is a loaded question. Yes and no. Only because if you don't have a basic understanding in those classes, it's going to be a lot harder for you to understand dental hygiene school. Whereas if you do have a good understanding of those classes, it'll make things a lot easier, because every class that you have, path, perio, anatomy of the head and neck, whatever else classes we take, because I don't remember, it's all going to come together in that sense. So these are it's just ground rules basically, and dental hygiene school branches off of those ground rules. So if you don't have a firm foundation in those classes, it's going to be a lot harder for you, and it's going to take a little bit more time for you to catch up and understand the information than your classmates that did get an understanding. So when you're taking those classes, make sure you're taking them and you're studying to learn, not studying to take the exam. There's a huge difference. I'm sure a lot of you know what I'm talking about because I've been there, done that, but it will help to understand these classes in dental hygiene school. So yes and no. If you don't know them, then it makes hygiene school harder. If you do know them, it makes it a little bit easier. Not much, but a little bit. So our next question is from India Foster. Hey Candace, can you make a video on your prerequisite grades? I have a B in chemistry class and I'm not gonna be able to retake it. So I got a B in A&P 1. That was my only B, but it didn't hurt my chances obviously because I'm in my senior year. So I just really suggest striving your hardest to make A's. And if you don't, it's not a huge deal. You get a B here and there. It's not a huge deal. It could lower your chances of getting in, but I don't really know how they do all of that stuff. It's just better to try and get A's, but a B here and there, it's not gonna hurt. And if it does, then you know, it's just not your year, or it's not the school or whatever. Just keep your head up, try to think positive. But yeah, I had to be, everything else was A's though, so I had about 7 to 8 prereqs, I think. Honestly, I don't even remember, it was so long ago. But it was a whole year worth of prereqs that I took before going into the program. Well, I guess the other ones were co-reqs, but I didn't want to take them while in the program. So, which I highly suggest. Do all of your classes before you enter the hygiene program. It'll make your life so much easier, I promise. But as far as a B in chemistry, it's not a huge deal, so don't get hung up on that. So next question is, Yaz B, do you get a lot of negativity with having tattoos? I'm heavily tatted, hands, fingers, and sleeves. Will that stop me? I'm currently in California and looking to move to Texas. So she asked this 10 months ago, and I'm not sure if you've applied by then or by now or whatever. I hope that if you did, you got in and it wasn't based off of your tattoos. But for me, it didn't stop me. Like I said in the earlier question, I went in and I actually spoke with the director. She saw my tattoos, had no effect of getting into the program. Other programs, I'm not sure, but if they're gonna judge you based off of your tattoos, do you really want to go there? Honestly, you don't. You want a program that's gonna be open-minded, willing to work with you, because that'll show a lot more in dental hygiene school throughout. Like, you want instructors that will be there for you when you need them, because trust me, you're gonna need them. And it's not just for class stuff. Like, we can go to our instructors for anything. If we need to talk to them, or if we're just having a really hard time and we're really struggling, we just feel down on ourselves, our instructors are there. So it's important to have that kind of support system. So if they're going to judge you based off of your tattoos alone and not your knowledge, then I would say screw that school, pardon my French, but move on to the next big thing. You know what I mean? So no, it didn't stop me, so it shouldn't stop you. You're going to be wearing gloves. You're going to be, I'm sure they have measures to take for you to cover your types of tattoos. I'm not sure. I Googled different creative ways to cover mine, but I just ended up wearing a jacket and a band-aid on my neck. So, I mean, it's just, it all depends. But no, it shouldn't stop you. And if it does, find another program to go to. Next question is, how difficult is the classroom setting? Oh, this is by Lindsay Hangos, sorry. How difficult is the classroom setting aspect of hygiene school? Is it hard to follow, or does it come relatively easy-ish? That's a good question. Depends on what type of learner you are. I am an online learner, so I do better at teaching myself stuff and reading supplemental information and stuff like that versus sitting in a lecture. Lectures, I fall asleep. Even in hygiene school, I fall asleep in my lectures all the time. And you might be wondering, well, Candace, you love dental hygiene school. You love what you're doing, or you love dental hygiene, not hygiene school. You love what you're doing. How are you falling asleep while learning all this information? Trust me, whenever you're on your 4th semester and you're learning about infection control for the 12th time, even though you know that you know it, your instructors know that you know it, but they have to teach it because it's part of the curriculum, trust me, you're gonna wanna fall asleep. But it's not just that, it's just, I'm not good at lectures. You can be a really outgoing instructor, or you can be a really monotonous instructor. Is that how you say that? Monotonous? I don't know. Just really monotoned instructor. Either way, I'm gonna fall asleep because I've had both. And I cannot stay awake for the life of me, but I've got good grades because I go back and I teach myself the material. So it really just depends if you're an online learner or if you are an in-face lecture learner. If you're a lecture learner, you're probably gonna learn it easier. If you are better with online, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Not impossible to do well, just it's gonna be a little more difficult. You're gonna have to put a little more oomph in it, but other than that, you should be okay. Next question. This one's by Mimi. May I ask why you live in a camper? I think it's really cool and interesting. So I'm back at home, obviously, because COVID-19. One of the reasons I lived in a camper, it's half the price of renting an apartment, actually a third to half the price. And then as far as, honestly, every one of my classmates is still stuck in a lease or was stuck in a lease for their apartment. I moved my camper back 2 months ago because it wasn't worth paying the extra money to not live there because all the campuses were closed. So they were stuck in a lease and I was not. So that was a really big perk. But mostly it was just to save money. It wasn't like a huge deal to live in a camper. I loved it. It was different, but I am definitely glad to be back home and taking a shower that has like a lot of hot water, not just a little bit of hot water. So if you're gonna move into a camper, just keep that in mind. The showers are a little bit colder sometimes. And then last question by Lindsay Hingos again. Do you have to find all your own patients? What do you think is the most challenging thing about the program? So yes, we have to find all of our patients, but some are walk-ins, some patients call in and ask for the seniors and stuff like that. So it makes it a little bit easier. It's still really hard. I mean, it is what it is though. So many people have come before you and they've made it, and it's fine. Do not stress about your patients. The most challenging thing about the dental hygiene program is staying positive and remembering that yes, you are good enough, and yes, you are going to make it through, because sometimes it just gets so difficult. Like right now, my heart goes out to all of the senior class of 2020 students, because this last semester, this is supposed to be most of our last semesters, and this COVID has just thrown us all for a whole loop, because we don't know if we're graduating, we don't know when we're going to be able to get our license, we don't know when we can take our boards. It's just, everything is all up in the air, and some programs are still requiring that their seniors come back next semester when there's already new freshmen, and then it's going to be seniors times 2. Like, I don't know how they're going to work that out, but God help them. But yeah, y'all are definitely in my heart and in my prayers, because that is rough. Luckily, we found out that we are graduating on time this semester. Actually, next week we'll be graduating. So that was a really big thing for us, because I was struggling with not knowing where my life was going, because I already had a job lined up. A lot of us had a job lined up, and then this just took us all by surprise. We didn't know what we were supposed to do. So this is just a really big curveball, and it's a change. And in hygiene, you have to learn how to be adaptable. You just do. And if you cannot adapt, you're gonna struggle. So if you're one of those that doesn't like change, well, get ready, because hygiene school is all about change, and it is about flipping a dime and changing one whole thing. And it's chaos, guys. It's chaos. I am telling you, it is utter chaos. But you can do it, because so many of us have come before you, and we're all doing just fine, kind of, a little bit. I mean, we might be going crazy. Like, I'm still talking to my plants every day, and I never even had plants, but I heard that it helps them grow, so I talk to my plants. But yeah, just hang in there. So the biggest challenge for me was to stay positive, and I had to, because there's just no other choice. I mean, you can sit there and feel sorry for yourself or have pity for yourself, or you can just deal with it and move on. You get a bad grade, or you get an infraction, or you get a U for your skills evaluation, or just like stuff like that. It's just, you accept it, learn from it, and then move on. Because if you stay stuck on it, you're never gonna make it through. You just have to keep pushing, and you have to remember that. My littles are really struggling with, am I good enough right now? Am I gonna make it? Am I good enough? I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm ever gonna be a hygienist. You keep telling yourself that, it's gonna be true. You are in charge of your future. And if you wanna be negative about it and just keep talking down about it, your only negative things are gonna come. That is what it is. I wholeheartedly believe that negative energy attracts negative energy. So you keep speaking all that into existence, it's gonna happen. But remain positive. There's always a bright side. I promise there's always a bright side, even to all this COVID nonsense. I haven't found it yet. Actually, no, I have found it. I'm good at gardening now. Not gardening, planting. I don't freaking know. But look, I am not a green thumb, yet I have managed to have these are all new little growths. There's a bunch of little growths in there. Like, it's all new. I did that. And one of these is actually from a leaf that I put in there, and it grew. So this is the good thing that's come out of COVID-19 from hygiene school, is my plants are growing. It's difficult, guys. Hygiene school is not for the faint of heart, but I promise you, you can do it if you really, really want to. If you really want to succeed and you want to do great and you want to be a hygienist and you want to clean some freaking teeth and educate your patients and all that jam, you can do it. You'll find a will. Where there is a will, there is a way, and you can do it. So, if you have any more questions for me, just drop them in the comment box below. I will try to get back to you on a video as soon as I can. I just hope it's not a year later next time again. But with all this nonsense going on, I have a lot more free time, so I'm hoping that I can do that for y'all. Also, excuse the red face. I don't know if y'all can tell how red it is. I got sunburnt because, you know, sunscreen. Wasn't paying attention, so wear your sunscreen, kids. Protect that skin. And I'm also sorry for saying and so and clicking my tongue and all this other weird stuff that I've been doing. I am a mess right now, but it's okay because I'm working on it and we're all gonna be all right and we're getting through this together. So again, if y'all have any questions, just drop them in the comment section below, or if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I'm planning on having more videos for y'all more frequently, hopefully. But I don't know where the subscribe button is, so wherever that is, just click that. And I will get back to y'all as soon as I can with a new video once y'all have some questions for me. Or you can inbox them. You don't have to drop them below, you can inbox them. Okay, I'm gonna go now.